I walked out of the Walgreens bathroom with this surreal feeling. The world was happening all around me, but I was in some other realm. I had just taken a pregnancy test, and I had no idea it was going to be positive. I was 40 years old, and I wanted motherhood, but not like this. Not with him. He was the worst kind of scary because I didn't know what he was capable of. And now I was carrying his baby. Could this be real? I found myself driving aimlessly. I ended at a nearby hiking trail. I walk. I just needed to walk. I came to a bench overlooking the lake. I usually don't stop, but this day I did. I overlooked the beautiful, expansive waters, and I felt a connection to spirit. I talked to her. My sweet baby, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how we're going to figure this out. But together, it's going to work. Somehow, I'm going to give you a good life. I don't think you're trying. I think you're a loser. Those were my father's words when I told him how I would support my baby. The yoga isn't working. Get a real job. You're a mother now. Dad, I've transitioned out of yoga. I'm a transformation coach. And I am trying. I'm helping people. I'm changing their lives. But secretly, I was scared my dad's words were right. Not only did it hurt me that my own father is calling me a loser, but he didn't even know that I was secretly in debt for the first time of my life. 10 years ago, I was at the top of my game professionally. I was the #1 salesperson in my company in North America, winning the awards on stage. Multiple companies were competing to hire me. I was even making in the upper 2% of the United States. But a decade ago, I had left that corporate life, and I'd been traveling the world, teaching yoga, even here in Bali, and hosting international retreats. I made it work, but I stopped getting ahead financially. Could I go back? After the 3rd interview, they offered me the job at the salary I wanted. I saw my life flash before my eyes with no time for myself, for my daughter, and creating a life I didn't want to live. I didn't want it. I really didn't want it. I remember a conversation with my grandfather just after college. It's my dream, Grandpa. As I told him I would be moving to Hollywood to pursue my dreams as an actress. It's pretty hard to make it as an actress, honey. Not for me, Grandpa. I'm special. Couldn't he see that? Well, he chuckled. That's good. You have confidence. But even if you were to make it, people who reach fame aren't happy. Look at that actor kid who was in the news last week and committed suicide. So I listened to my grandfather, and I didn't go to California. I went to Chicago, where I would get a real job. And here I am, 30 years later. I still wonder, what if? What if I would have just tried it? How much different would my life have been? So I turned down the job. If I would have taken this job, it would mean abandoning my dreams once again and giving up on my purpose. I decided that I would create success on my terms, with a life that was in alignment with a life I wanted to live. I would create the time freedom to be there for my daughter and time for myself. I would create the financial freedom to provide an amazing life for us. And I would create the geographic freedom to live in our dream locations and travel the world. But how was I going to do this? I had to get committed to this vision. This meant going all in. I found my commitment by realizing I would be an example for my daughter and for my clients, that it is possible to follow your heart and create a life of success on your own terms. So I hired a coach. This was a big secret. I could never tell my family because I was spending money that I didn't have. I even took out a mortgage on my house, and I put $40,000 into a coaching program. This could be the worst decision or the best decision. I was scared. As a single mother, could I lose our home? So I thought, if I'm a gambling woman, I'm going to bet on me. And it turns out that every time I invested in myself, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. My business quickly grew to a multiple six-figure status and grew exponentially ever since. Every time I bet on myself, I got recommitted to my vision. And every time I invested in getting the support I needed, I went to the next level. I realized that when I get the support I need and I believe in myself, anything is possible. While I was building my business, I set up an online coaching business so I had the flexibility to be with my daughter and be home. I also wanted to be in person with my clients, so I would travel to retreats a few times a year. Returning from a coaching retreat, I picked my daughter up at her biological father's home. She was just about 4 years old. That night, when I took her home, I was putting her to bed. She said the words I never wanted to hear. Daddy hurt me. Our life changed forever. I went on to learn of the pain, the harm, and abuse that she had been undergoing since she was a baby. And they all told me I couldn't do anything about it. They all said, the attorney said, you don't have a case. The DA said, you can't stop him. He has rights. I went through multiple attorneys. I went through multiple tens of thousands of dollars. And 3 years later, 3 years in court, I got the call a few days before Christmas. And the attorney said to me, we won. That never felt right to me. No one wins in this scenario. But my daughter would now be protected. Looking back, I am grateful that I also didn't give up on my purpose, because my business was not only there to help provide financially for me during this time, but my beautiful clients were there needing my support. I was able to step into a better version of me on my mastermind calls. I was able to help other people with the challenges they were facing. It gave me some solace and peace from the struggles I was going through. Don't you dare give up on your purpose. That's what I told my client when she told me that her husband had just been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I know what you might be thinking. Give her a break, her husband might be dying. I thought of that, but I decided to love her enough to take a stand for her. You don't need to give up and abandon yourself, because that is the energy you will bring back to your husband. You need to continue to be there for your clients and connect with who you really are, so you can be uplifting and bring positive energy to your husband and your boys. Well, her jaw dropped to her heart as she was silently stunned for a moment, but she trusted me. She knew my heart was with her. So I told her of my story, my situation, and she got it. You need to continue to shine your light and be your best self and bring that beautiful energy back to your family. 3 years later, Sarah was still in the magical manifestation mastermind, and her husband, who had been given 6 months to live, was still alive and baffling doctors. Now I stand here on this stage, grateful to be traveling months with my sweet daughter here in Bali. Grateful for an abundantly growing business. Grateful for my amazing clients because I followed my soul calling and I stopped abandoning my dreams. So today with you, I speak to my grandfather. Papa, thank you for loving me so much that you wanted to protect me and look out for me. But I can't spend any more of my life wondering, what if? I am not going to spend my life looking for evidence to support my worst fears. I choose to spend the rest of my life looking for evidence to support the possibility of my greatest dreams. I don't believe the world needs more unhappy people. The world needs more people aligning with their purpose, living their truth, and loving their life. This only happened for me because I stopped listening to all the voices out there telling me I can't. I stopped listening to all the voices in here telling me I can't. And I started listening to the one voice telling me I can.